So we are live.
Let's start over. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, we're live. We're not starting over. We're live.
Okay. Hi, audience. Hi, Heather.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I would like to introduce you to my dog. This is Oliver.
Hey, Oliver. Pip is saying
Oliver,
hi.
that's Pip. Hi, Pip. How are you?
Pip is saying hi. I think I'm going to have to put her down because she's starting to attack the screen.
Okay, Oliver's not in a good mood either, so let me get rid of him. Okay, you can go.
So it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you?
Very good. How about you?
Fine. So it's been, I guess, 2 weeks since we've seen each other now.
Yeah, last week we couldn't do it.
So what have you been? Yeah. So yeah, for any audience members that don't know, we decided to put off the live streams to respect the stay-at-home directive from our governor. So that's why we're doing this remotely on StreamYard. And thanks, Heather, for setting all this up and all the technical wizardry.
You're welcome. No problem. I'm so glad you could be here. I'm so glad we could do this remotely and everything. If people who are watching, if you guys could do me a favor and just chat with us, let us know you can see us, let us know you can hear us. As always, we want to make sure everything is working and you can see and hear everything, okay? We don't see anything in the comments yet. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Great. So yes, please let us know you can see and hear us, okay? Again, new media, so there's always technical difficulties.
Should I click on live comments?
Do you want to do the live comments, or should we get into the discussion? Because today's discussion is about Vegas scams. We are going to be talking about Vegas.
Yes, but I'm happy. Yes, but I'm happy to hear any audience comments if we have an audience.
It looks like we do. So if you click the comments, you might notice that there's a section that says comments. Do you see the comments, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay,
I see
good.
private chat and live comments.
Yeah. So
okay, can whoever is visiting say something?
Yeah, if you click the live comments, you'll see that there's people in there and they're commenting. Again, technical difficulties. Thank you so much for being patient. So hi, Bennett. Hey, Rick. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Eric. Good to see you guys. Rocky said this show has gone to the dogs. Hey, Rocky, it's good to see you. Yes, we had to introduce our dogs. Everyone's at home, so that means kids and dogs and all that fun stuff.
I see B Buns is here. He is the only person who claimed his prize from our last live stream.
Really? The only person?
So congratulations, B Buns. Yes, and I sent him a book. He lives very close to where I grew up. I won't say where he's from, but I'm from Northwest Orange County near Long Beach. So B Buns, and congratulations again. I hope you got your book.
Awesome. Really good to see everyone out there, you guys. I hope everyone is okay. I hope you guys are safe, sound. Yeah, it's just a crazy time right now. So.
As do I. Stay safe, everybody.
So what?
Yeah. So ta-da.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. Well, I was going to say the topic of today's show will be Vegas scams. And did you bring a list of them, Heather?
I have the list right here.
Okay. Well, why don't we take turns?
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you like to go first or me?
Sure. Whatever.
Okay. Well, why don't we start with probably the biggest one that everyone knows about, so it's no big surprise. But it's resort fees, and we all hate them. What bothers me about them is that every single hotel in Vegas will advertise one rate, and then when you get to paying for the room, they tack on this undisputable resort fee. And you don't know about it until the very end. And I just think it is false advertising. Advertise one rate and make you pay another, and you have no right to decline it. Like if you go and you say, I do not need any of the things that this resort fee pays for, if they said, okay, fine, we will take it off and you can't do that stuff, but no, if you're going to have to pay X, then they should advertise X. And I, since the government is not owning up to this problem, I think that the sites like Travelocity should advertise the rates that include the resort fee.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
What's your opinion?
Oh, I completely agree. I think it's ridiculous. People should know how much they need to pay. If they don't have, what if they only come with a certain amount and then, after leaving, they realize that they owe 20, 30, 40 more dollars than they budgeted. It's just ridiculous. And I just want to point out to Eric777 in the chat. He says that there is no resort fee at the Four Queens. And I think the Four Queens is the only casino in town that doesn't have resort fees. Is that correct, Mike?
I don't know, but if that's true, then I say kudos to the Four Queens. And so all due praise to them if that's true.
Yeah. Now, Rick is asking, do you know what that resort fee is supposed to cover?
They cover things like the pool and
taxes.
And I think free local calls.
Free local calls, really?
No, did you say it covers taxes?
Yeah, I think it covers taxes, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't, because the taxes are yet another thing that they tack on, and it's not just the Nevada state tax, but there's like a Vegas hotel tax and this tax and that tax, so that what you actually pay by the end of it is quite a bit more than what you thought. So, I understand we're all used to paying taxes, but but the resort fee is just, it's just unethical. It's not kosher. I don't like it. It shouldn't be allowed.
Do you know?
And when I'm in charge of Nevada or anywhere, and I'm king, then we're going to see the elimination of resort fees.
Well, we're going towards a Mad Max scenario right now. So does that mean we're going to see you on top of a Mack truck playing a guitar as we drive through the desert?
I will be playing a melodica. And juggling.
There we go.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay. So, what it's your turn.
Do you remember when we were on the strip and we're walking, this was, I think, last year, and we're walking on the strip and we were going across the bridge. And we saw, and this is totally normal. There was a guy on the bridge on Las Vegas Boulevard, and he had like a little table, and he was doing the 3 cups and the pea and the 3 cups, or the ball and the 3 cups. Yes. And he had to figure out what ball was where and everything. And and so that's a scam. You actually taught me that, because I was like, oh, what's this? And you're like, no, don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it.
Heather opened up her wallet to make
I did. I didn't know. And you're like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
Yes.
But that's one of the Las Vegas scams. They go on the strip and you want to tell people about the scam?
Yes, to expand on that, it's called 3-card monte. It's usually played with 3 playing cards, say 2 red ones and 1 black one, but it can also be played with shells and 1 ball or 1 pea. This is not just a Vegas scam. I have seen this in New York. I've seen it in Berlin. And it's more like a magic show. There's all kinds of tricks to deceiving the audience where the pea is or the ball. And you will think like it's 100% under that shell. I saw it for sure, but they have some way of tricking you. It's and you lose your money.
Yeah.
Right. It's sleight of hand. There are YouTube videos that expose how they do it, but it isn't just that aspect. Is they have stooges that come in there and pretend to win money. And, it's a whole elaborate act. And, if you see it, you might watch it for a little bit, but yeah, absolutely never bet. If you think you're 100% right, you'll lose. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, total scam.
And I just want to bring up that point one more time. You will, again, like he said, stooges, but there will be people sitting there acting like they're playing and they're winning, and you think it's all easy, and it's not. And that's what he's talking about. So check it out. Like, if you see this scam on Las Vegas Boulevard, have fun watching, but don't play.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so with that turn, this one is called the hidden CNF fee. CNF stands for session and franchise fee. So what this is, the restaurant strip will tack on so-called fee at the end of years, typically like 4.7%, and easily disclose this. Like at there's like a beer place right outside the Paris on the second floor. At the very end of the menu, where it starts out, pregnant women shouldn't eat raw meat and stuff like that. Something that we all gloss over. It says a X% franchise fee will be added to your bill. And this is just disclosure. Like I said, it's a small and verbally. However, fall for this, and you get the bill, and then you remember about it, you can dispute it. Say to the waitress, and I actually did this a few times. Say, okay, we deducted that from your bill. But yeah, so
could you say the last part? I can't hear you.
Someplace that charges this dispute. So the last thing I said was that if you do eat at a restaurant that charges this, dispute it when you get a good chance that it will be deducted from your bill. I think this is even worse than a resort. Yeah, I was in a resort fee because here's to try to slip under the radar, whereas a resort fee, that's really big, and you see it by the time you're ready to pay. So what's your opinion about that, Heather?
Well, I was going to say, have you ever, on that same regard, have you ever noticed that when they bring you the check, it has the tips on there, 10%, 15%, 18%. But if you sit there, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, and you do the math, it's not the right number. They're not, giving you the right percentage. It's usually a little higher. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, really? So you're saying that where it says like 20%, that it's not 20%, that it's more than 20%?
Right. Yeah. Or 15%.
I did not know that. Okay, so you're saying that they did the math wrong.
Yeah. Because and it's been more than one place. Like, it wasn't just one place. It was more than one restaurant. Because I'm bored and I sit there and I actually try to, do the 10%, 15%, 20% on the math because I find that fun. And then it doesn't add up. It doesn't, it's not the same. And I'm like, okay, so I must be wrong. And I get out my calculator and I figure it out on the calculator. And it's like, no, they're wrong. I'm not wrong. So yeah, I was just wondering if you ever noticed that.
I am going to look into this. Topic that bothers me a little bit is I would call tip inflation 15 to 20, like 18, 20, and 25. Like I remember when 15% was the standard, and now that's considered an insult.
Well, I think
So,
the tip inflation is companies not wanting to pay their employees, and because of inflation, because of the rise in mortgage, the rise in food, the rise in gas, they need more money. But the casinos, the corporations, the businesses, they don't want to pay their staff more money. I think that's what that is.
Yep. I like it when I go to anywhere else in the world and tipping is truly optional, and be not shaken down for a tip. I think that's more fair. And the word gratuity, the etymology is the same as gratuitous, paying like a gratuitously large, excessive. That's what a tip or a gratuity is supposed to be. But it's become an expected thing, and it's just that I know that non-Americans hate, and they're right.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about. Okay, so I believe it's my turn. Okay.
I think so.
Maybe this isn't exactly a scam, but it's the timeshare pitches. So like, especially when you enter the Flamingo heading southbound, there's always like a showgirl there, and they all only do this to couples. They say, hey, and then they say, oh, would you like free shows? So we'll get free. Say, oh, all you have to do is sit through this no obligation.
You're breaking in and out. Can you say that again?
Tour
hey, Mike?
Of our new resort or something like that. And
Mike, you're breaking up really bad. Can you say that again?
Do you want me to try to get my microphone out? I'm going to get my microphone.
Yeah, maybe that would be better because you. Okay. Yeah, we're going to try that because the lag is really bad. The connection's really bad. We just so you guys know, we did spend a couple days trying to get this going and up and running and everything. So we were having worse technical difficulties than this. Mike, I should get Mike that technical difficulty shirt. Those who are watching, you guys who are on the chat.
I don't know if this is a problem.
Oh, good. If you guys are watching and you're in the chat, what Vegas scams have you seen? What have you noticed? Tell us your experiences. They could have been in the Las Vegas Strip, on the Las Vegas Strip, or anywhere in the Las Vegas Valley. But let us know what you've experienced. Let us know what scams you've come across in Las Vegas. Mike, you back?
Can you hear me any better?
Yes, we can hear you much better.
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad this helped. Okay. So to summarize that, okay, what you can expect to happen is they make it sound like it's this wonderful experience where you get a free tour and then you get a free show and a free buffet. No, when you get that, when you actually do it, it's going to be absolute torture. Is you may start out with a tour, but then you're going to have to sit across the table from a very, very, very high pressure salesman, and you will have to sit through their pitch, and it is going to be brutal. I have done this in Hawaii and Florida, and it's just absolute hell. You want absolutely nothing to do. It is not worth the best show and the best buffet in Vegas to have to suffer through one of these timeshare pitches. And furthermore, never get a timeshare to begin with. Right. I have never known a happy person who bought a timeshare.
Oh, we did one of those timeshare tours here in Las Vegas. We wanted to go see a free show, so we did the tour. The guy was really horrible. I mean, like really mean. And when we said no for the 50th time at the very end of it, he actually poked us with his pen. Like he had his pen right here on his hand. And he went to go shake our hands, and he like stabbed us with the freaking pen, and it hurt. And I jumped back, and I'm like, what the, and he's like, oh, sorry, I guess it slipped out. I'm like, slipped out my ass. It's all the way out there.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's all the more evidence why you shouldn't do these things.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do not make it easy for you to say no.
No.
They truly do not take no for an answer.
And Eric in the chat is saying that he thinks parking here is a scam. What do you think about that?
Yeah, maybe it shouldn't be filed under a scam, but I definitely don't like it. They don't make it obvious that you have to pay for it until you're all are committed to it. So, yeah, I've already ranted about paid parking many times, and some casinos have, like the Wynn, have gone back to free parking. So kudos to all who have changed their minds about that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Can you keep an eye on the comments? I see Anne is here.
Yeah, Anna's here. She said, I've had gifts they give for attending timeshare presentations that I would consider scams and or very different than what they lead you to believe in advance that they're going to give you. That's a good point.
Yeah, once when I was a poor college student, it was kind of like a timeshare thing, but it was at a campground. And they gave me a telephone answering machine. And back then, these were kind of expensive, but it was really, the one I got was just really junky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's your turn.
My turn. Okay. I think 000 is a scam. So they have they have a single zero. I mean, I've seen this. It's crazy. They have a 000 roulette table, and right next to it, a 000 roulette table, and the 000 roulette table is full, and no one's on the 000. Or you go to a casino, and it's just 000, and that's all they have. They don't have anything else, and they try to disguise it that it's not 000 by putting like their logo on there, or by putting a picture on there, or something like that. Like, oh, it's just an extra bet,
Yeah, I think someday I'm going to do a show for things like that are like rip-off games where there's basically the same equivalent of easily available with better odds. But yeah, I totally agree with you. The house edge in 000 roulette is 7.89%, I believe, whereas you could easily find 00 roulette at 5.26%. But what I don't get is that there will typically be more people playing 000 roulette than 00 roulette at the same casino and at the same bet range.
Yep. Yeah. I know, right?
Yep.
They're like, oh, there's more places for us to bet. This must be better for us.
I think so. I think the average person think, oh, there's more zeros. The odds must be better.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So which one shall I do next? Okay. Are you familiar with the Ultimate X scam?
No.
Are you familiar with the game Ultimate X?
No.
Okay. So Ultimate X is a video poker variation where if you bet more, then you can win multipliers on good hands, but the multipliers will apply to the next hand. And so it's a good advantage play to try to find a machine where somebody abandoned multipliers. It doesn't happen very often, but nevertheless, it's a solid good play. But here's the scam: is you will be sitting there playing, say, regular video poker, and someone will come up to you and say, "Hey, why are you playing this pay table? There's a much better one right over here." And then they will lead you to an Ultimate X game. And then they will like showing you the rules like a good Ultimate X pay table, but they don't explain that it's an Ultimate X game. Mm-hmm. And Ultimate X can afford to have a better pay table just because of all the complexities of the math. So the way that the concept behind the scam is you think, oh, here's a much better pay table, and you start playing it. And then when you earn good multipliers, trick to you will say, I made a mistake. I think the game you were playing is actually better. And so they're hoping that you will leave, and then the person who tricked you will jump in and take your your multiplier.
Yeah.
So this has happened to me before. I've heard of people. So yeah, just be aware of that trick. So, if some player who you don't talk you into playing some other game, expect a trick. It may not be the ultimate X trick, but it's going to be something.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that one?
Nope, I agree.
Okay. Do we have any? Okay. Do we have any suggestions from the audience?
We do. We have some comments from the audience. Couple comments is Eric777. He thinks a scam in Las Vegas is having no price on the anything in the gift shop. When you go in the gift shop, there's no price on anything, and then it's like 2 or 3 times the amount that it's supposed to be. For example, water. If you're on the Las Vegas Strip and you need water, expect to pay $5-10 for water. It's insane. That's the scam.
I know. I agree with both things. Number one, the no prices in the gift shops. And I remember one time when I was staying at the Venetian and I forgot a toothbrush. So I went down to that gift shop by the elevators and picked one out. Of course, there was no price on it. And I get to the register and it was like $6. What choice did I have? I needed a toothbrush and I'm not going to walk. Maybe I should have, but if you did forget something like that, don't buy anything in the hotel gift shop, but go to a CVS or a Walgreens, which aren't that cheap either, but at least they're going to be better than a hotel gift shop.
Preferably off the strip. I mean, you could go like 5 minutes off the strip on, Spring Mountain or Flamingo or Tropicana and go to a Walgreens and have things be like 2 or 3 times less than what you're going to find at the CVS in Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah, there is either a CVS or a Walgreens right by the Venetian, and there's another one between I think it's just south of the Park MGM. So yeah, to our out of town visitors, Walgreens and CVS will give you a much better deal than you'll ever get in a hotel for any kind of anything you may have forgotten.
Yeah. Now, Wild Foodie Tours says a big scam is posing for pics with the various characters on the strip.
Yes,
and they
don't
they don't tell you that you have to tip them. They don't tell you it's anything. They're like, oh, hey, you want to pick? Well, yeah, of course I want to pick. And then afterwards, they're like, okay, $10 or okay, however much it is. And then you feel pressure to give them money. So yes, he was talking about that.
Yeah, this one was on my list too. This is definitely a trick. So they never disclose their prices up front, and they're not allowed to charge a fixed amount. So the way it typically works is, hey, you take a picture with us. So you do. Like work for tips. Mm-hmm. And if you give like a 2, they will probably say, I'm all in favor of charging for a service, but you should say what the fee is up front. And granted, they're not allowed to have set pricing, but I think they should at least say our suggested tip is blank. And it gets really bad with the the showgirls and the hot topless girls, things like that. They expect $20.
Yeah, they really do. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that if you really want to do that before anyone takes a picture, say what is the suggested tip, and I bet they can be haggled down a lot.
Yeah. So the next person on the chat, which by the way, Joey, send me an email later and we'll talk. Ann Larson says, I went to the gold and silver pawn shop and there was a table outside where scammers were leading you to sign up for a chance to win, to be on the show. But the whole scam was to get your personal information.
Yeah. By the way, that's the pawn shop on Pawn Stars.
That is?
So, yeah. Cool. I will not fill out these free drawing things ever because they're just fishing for your personal information. Yep. I absolutely just won't do those. Never do them. It's just, you always see them in movie theaters and things like that. So just absolutely stay away.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Totally. So another one is, well, we talked about that.
Well, while you're looking
for the chat, everyone has been, everyone else, thank you very much. Let us know if you have anything more that you want to add. What are your Vegas scams? What have you experienced? But yes, we are good with the chat. So you want to take it from there, Mike?
Okay. So another thing on my list, and this is similar to the so-called free picture people, is the free CD people. And the way this typically works is, someone in their young 20s will say, hey, I'm a struggling artist. I'm giving away my music. Would you please just listen to it and tell your friends about it? So a nice person would say, sure. And then they accept it, and then they will reach out their hand, and then the person will say, oh no, let me autograph it to you. What's your name? And then they autograph the CD with a Sharpie, and then they give it to you, and you say thank you. And then comes the shakedown, and they say, I'd like to get $20 for those, or $10. And then if you say, well, I thought this was a gift, who knows what they'll say, but they'll say, I'm a struggling artist. This is what I normally charge. And in that case, just give it back to them, and they may not accept it. If you want to be really aggressive, just throw it at them. And, they will probably say, look, I already autographed it to you. It's not, I can't give it away now. But, absolutely don't give them anything under the premise that it's false advertising. They pretended like it was a gift. So just, if you see people giving away CDs, just absolutely just walk right past. Just don't even talk to them. And I haven't seen this so much in Las Vegas, but it happens all over the place in New York City.
Have you thrown one back at them?
No, I'm not that rude,
okay.
But I think this came up on my forum, and someone said that that's what he does.
Oh, man.
Any new ones from the forum? From the audience?
Here. So Eric77 says, what about putting the buffets in the back of the casino?
I have no problem with that. This is a common casino thing, is to make you walk through the whole casino to get to the elevators or whatever people might want to get to. Mm-hmm. But I think, I don't know, I'm used to it. I'm okay with that. By the way, they're saying that that casino buffets may go the way of the dodo bird after this whole coronavirus. Yeah,
they really should. They're nasty.
Yeah, I know. And everyone is touching the same serving spoon, and I could maybe see people doing it like cafeteria style, where a worker is the one who scoops stuff onto your plate. But but that will be. Vegas and buffets just go hand in hand. That will be weird to see them go.
When I was 6 years old or 7 years old, I did a commercial for the Palace Station buffet. And we were there at midnight. We had to wait for everyone to leave. And then we're sitting there and they're like, okay, now your job is to look like the food looks amazing and you really want to eat it. And this food had been out all day. It was nasty. It smelled horrible. There was insects. There were actual insects walking around like eating stuff, and they're like, okay, now put a big scoop on your plate and look like you're happy. And I'm like, seriously? And they're like, this is acting. I'm like, that's disgusting. That's gross. Oh, that's so nasty.
So you couldn't do it?
No, I did it.
Okay.
I don't know where that commercial is. It's somewhere, but yeah, I did it.
Well, I would love to see a commercial.
If I ever find any of my commercials, I'll let you see them. But,
so have you done, so you've done other commercials besides that one?
Yeah, I did a commercial for the Excalibur when it first opened. It hadn't opened to the public yet, and we got to go in before anyone else went in, and it was late at night. And when you walk in and you see the stairs going down to the carnival area, and then where you sign in, it's like right over there. We had to sit there and wait forever while we're waiting for them to get it all ready. And then we went outside and they got a shot of us looking at the Excalibur, pointing at it as a family, like, oh, that's so cool. Isn't that awesome? Oh, we want to go see that. That's so cool. And then I did like a Bank of America one. And I think that's it as far as
I did not know you were an actress.
Yeah, I hated it. I'm like, I don't ever want to do this. I told my mom to get me out of it. I'm like, I want to go to school. I want to play in the mud. That sounded way better.
Okay.
So we have a couple people talking on the chat. John Hansen says the CD people hang out on the bridge all of the time. Questorit, he says, what is the deal with all of the people trying to sign you up to get you into the nightclubs? Is there anything to be wary of, or is that just paid promotion for the club? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, this was on my list too. I don't know much. I don't know too much about it because, to be honest, I hate the nightclubs. I wouldn't go in them for free with a line cutting privilege.
How much would someone have to pay you to
yes,
you go in?
Well, you know, we've been to some private ones that were fun because they had models and plenty of food and drink.
That's different, yeah.
But to just go there, yeah. But okay. So, but yes, you see these people all over Vegas that say they will tend to target groups of men and say, hey, you know, do you want a VIP pass to the Tryst or the Tower or whatever nightclub? And here is where I have to just go on things that I've heard. But I've heard that either you're paying to get basically nothing, or what you get is nothing special, but the person who gave it to you gets some sort of a commission. But I've never heard of anyone who is happy with these people that supposedly are nightclub hosts, that what they're offering is worthless, that you still have to stand in line, and that it's a scam.
Yeah.
Do you know anything more about that, Heather?
No, I don't. I was never much of a nightclub person. I never liked it too much, so I never went. I have a ton of them. Like, I have a stack of all that stuff that they give you. Oh, get in free. Oh, this is on. And I have a stack of it somewhere. So if anyone wants them, I got them, but I just never went.
Another thing is, I know that the drinks in these clubs are ridiculously expensive. Someone on my forum said that the water is not free, which, I mean, restaurants are supposed to offer free water. So yeah, I mean, if you absolutely must go, I would do your drinking, you know, before you get there to try to keep your bill reasonable. I just don't see the attraction at all.
No, just drive to a Lee's liquor store. I mean, there's one 10 minutes, 15 minutes away, and you could buy cheap liquor at Lee's discount liquor store. Bennett said on the chat that he thinks a martingale system is a scam. And then also, too, Reckless wants to know, when do you think the casinos will open again?
Well, okay, I'm not going to get into betting systems. I could talk a whole show about that. So when do I think the casinos will reopen? I was just yesterday, I went on Travelocity just to see when casinos are taking reservations again. And there's a handful that are taking them at the end of April. But when you switch over to May 1st, it gets to be a lot, like the Venetian taking reservations for May 1st. So I do think it'll probably be kind of a gradual thing. First will be a big day. Probably half the properties will, at least now, you get reservations. And who knows, maybe they'll cancel them if things get bad. But I predict, and my predictions regarding the coronavirus so far have been pretty bad, but I predict that most places will first.
We'll do what?
I predict most play first.
May 1st. Okay.
And you, Heather?
Well, my prediction when we first started this was an incredible.
What's your prediction?
remember when we were doing this at the very beginning and I predicted it would be about 3 months. I'm still keeping that. I still think it's going to be June 1st. And yeah, that's what I think. It was the 3-month mark from when we first did this, I think in March. So I got a scam that I want to bring up.
And by the way,
two more scams actually. The Minibar. By the way, what?
Yeah. I was going to say that on a previous show, I estimated that there would be 2,000 to 3,000 U.S. casualties, and I think right now we're at about 20,000. So it just goes to show how good my predictions are.
Well, I don't think anyone
but
predicted this.
Yeah, I mean, most people on my forum were predicting in the millions. So, so I think that if I'm wrong, by only 1-0, I'll be looking pretty good. But yeah, mini bars, everyone knows about this, that they're ridiculously expensive and only use them in a total emergency.
Well, the scam is that if you move it, you get charged for it. Like just touching it. Like I had food from a restaurant that I took back to the room and I just put it in there and I moved like several things. And then they wanted to charge me $100 before I left. I'm like, $100 for what? Oh, well, you took stuff out of the minibar. No, I didn't. Well, you moved some stuff. I put my food in there, you know? That was just...
Yeah. Did they take it off your bill?
Yeah.
Good. One time when I was in Costa Rica, I did take a bottle of wine out of the minibar and I took off like that aluminum, like that wrapping that goes over the cork. But then I had no way to get the cork out. And so I tried, but I just couldn't get the cork out. So I put it back in the minibar. And then when I go to check out, sure enough, I get charged for the bottle of wine. And I say, I couldn't open it. You guys didn't give me a corkscrew. There was no way to open the bottle. And they said, well, we can't sell that bottle now because you took off that wrapping that goes over the top. And yeah, so, I paid for it, but I was pretty mad about it.
Yeah, I'd be pretty mad too. Did you have another scam that you wanted to talk about on your list?
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, one thing I wanted to rant about is there's a lot of really terrible shows in Vegas. And you do tend to find them at the places that sell discounted show tickets. But there's just a lot of like really rinky-dink little showrooms that just have these terrible shows. So just because, you're in Vegas and, we're famous for shows doesn't mean that they're all good. So I would be really wary of any show that's ridiculous, that's really, really cheap, and especially if it's based on music. So there are so many shows that are just like 3 or 4 people lip syncing. That's not my idea of good entertainment. Now, there are some good cheap shows, like a good magic show I would probably appreciate. And any good live music show is probably going to be good. But, I think that a lot of the topless shows are really quite bad. And yeah, so... because there's just like 4 girls lip syncing.
Oh, okay.
It's just not entertaining to me. So I just wanted to give a little rant about that.
Cool. I got one more too.
Okay. Any suggestions from the audience? Okay, go ahead.
Nothing from the audience. We have a couple questions as far as predictions go, but nothing as far as scams go. My last scam is the prostitutes. If you go into a Las Vegas casino and you sit down at a bar and a beautiful woman comes over and asks, hey, what you doing tonight? Want to have fun? Want to hang out? There's been a lot of people who come to my blackjack table afterwards and they tell me the story and it's awful. They think that they met someone. They think they're going to have some fun. They go upstairs and then the girl's like, you got to pay me $300. And the guy's like, I didn't agree to that, you know? And she's like, either you pay me 300, so I'll leave and nothing happens, or I'll go downstairs and I'll tell security what you're doing and you're going to get in trouble and you're going to get arrested. And so the guy has to pay them $300 for them just to leave the room and not to do anything, just so they won't go downstairs and, you know, stir up trouble. Have you heard of that scam?
I did not know that that's what would happen. I mean, I do think a guy would have to be pretty naive to think that a hot girl in Vegas is just going to, you know, ask to go to his room out of nowhere. You know, I think that 99% of men would know that for what it's worth. So yeah, that's a good warning. But on that note, and this is not something I know a great deal about, but you know those great big billboards that say free girls to your room and all these stripper cards that people hand out on the strip. I think an even worse deal that way, because if you call one of these numbers, a girl will show up. And then, you know, I've heard different stories, you know, like lots of times, you know, the guy will open up, say, come on in. And the girl will say, you know, that will be $100 just to walk through the door.
Oh,
you know, the free girls to your room just gets me, will just get me like to knock on the door. Mm-hmm. And then, and their prices are going to be really, really high because they have to work through an agency that probably is getting half.
Yep.
And a trick that I've also heard is the girl will say, oh, well, you know, she will be nice, but she'll say, oh, you know, let's get naked and get you on the bed. And then when the blood has rushed out of the man's brain to somewhere else, then she's going to ask for like $1,000 or a really outrageous price.
Yeah.
And he's not going to have his mental capacities to say no.
Yeah. Or another thing that happens too is I've heard of some guys being caught unaware and the woman taking a lamp
Mm-hmm.
or something in the room and smashing it over their heads and then just completely stealing from them, you know, like taking everything they got.
Yeah, I've also heard of the girls using a Molly or, you know, whatever kind of drug will knock the guy out.
Yep.
Not a Molly. What's the term that I'm looking for? A roofie, yeah. So yeah, all kinds of things can go wrong with that on both ends.
Yeah. Now going to chat, US Paper Game says the biggest scam in Vegas was the Venetian rigging their prize drawings. That wasn't that long ago. And Stan says that a person, I don't know if you want me to go into this, but he needs to be called out because he's charging $2,500 for martingale training. Do you have anything to say about either of those?
With the martingale training, okay, there are people that promote a service that says that, and they will say something like, I will teach you my betting system that always wins and blah, blah, and just pay me, whatever they charge, and I will come to the table and coach you how to do it. And they will probably be doing something like a martingale where it's going to be very likely that you will win. But the way most betting systems work is you usually have a small win at the expense of occasionally having a huge loss that will wipe out any previous wins. So no betting system works, but that's what these people will do is, you will follow their system and you probably will win a little bit. But I would imagine that after that, the person would probably say, oh, well, I'll teach you an even better one for more money, something like that. But absolutely nothing to do with paying for a betting system, whether it's live coaching, whether it's a website, whether it's a book, whether it's a video. They are all scams. Don't pay no matter how they are asking for the money or what the betting system is.
Right. Another thing to keep in mind for people who are listening is if these people have a system that wins every time, why does this person need to be teaching this system to you for money? Like he would just go and he would gamble and he would win a ton of money. He wouldn't need to be staying here teaching these people, the system for money. So that's something to think about. Those systems,
exactly.
They never, yeah.
Exactly. And you can... Yeah, and you could say the same thing about a lot of things like touts, people that sell you picks in sports. If they're such great handicappers, why aren't they making millions betting their own money?
Yep, exactly.
Yep. Yep. So let's see. What else do I have here? I did want to throw out a warning about taxis. These people have all kinds of tricks to take longer to get you to where you want to go, or to try to trick you into going someplace else. Like you may say, I want to go to Sapphires, and they'll say, oh, well, Cheetahs is way better. I know people there. They'll show you a really good time, and they trick you into going someplace else instead. But the reason they're so motivated is they get a kickback from whatever strip club they are taking. They're trying to get you to go to. It's not just that. There's the long hauling. It's common with strip clubs, but there's the common long hauling through the tunnel at the airport, and and I'm not saying all cab drivers do this, but I think that most of them do have a bag of tricks that they count on to make extra money.
I've had that happen to me.
When Uber and Lyft came along, a lot of people were singing the blues for the cab drivers, though this is going to put them out of business. And I still deserve it. I have no sympathy for them.
I have a good story about that. I was dealing at the Rio, and my car was it was in the shop, so I had to have my boyfriend pick me up from work, and I was doing the late shift, so I was like getting off at 4 a.m. or whatever, and it's 4 a.m., so he accidentally fell asleep and he couldn't pick me up from work, so I had to take a taxi home. And I had changed clothes. I wasn't in my uniform or anything. I was in civilian clothes. And I go in the cab and I tell him, here's my address, take me there. He starts going the opposite way. I'm like, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the address you gave me. No, you're not. No, you're supposed to take, make a right on this street, make a left on this street. And by the way, I was born and raised here and you can't screw me over. So, you better be going the right way. And he got like all flustered and red. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, my butt. I did not tip him. I was so mad. But that guy was trying to go like a completely different way. And after that, I'm like, you go down this street, you make a right at this street, you make a left at that street, and don't go anywhere except where I tell you to go.
Almost the same thing happened to me once. Is I had just landed here in Vegas, coming all the way from Paris with like an 8-hour layover from San Francisco. So I was in a terrible mood. My friend who was supposed to pick me up was a no-show.
Ooh.
So the Uber site had totally crashed, I think because of excess demand. So I had no other choice. I have to get in a taxi. And the first thing I said is, I'm going to Summerlin, take Tropicana, do not take the tunnel. I was explicitly clear. And what happens? He takes the tunnel. And then I flew off the handle. I mean, normally I'm slow to get mad, but I was just furious. And I said, explicitly told you to take Tropicana and not the tunnel. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pay you what I think the ride should have cost had you done the way that I told you, or I'll pay what you ask, but I'm going to report you to the authorities. And of course he took the first option, but yeah. So, and by the way, once in Panama and once in China, I have taken cabs and the meter was running like 2 to 3 times as fast. And they explained it. That this is a time of day where it's more expensive. But both times that this happened was late at night, where if anything, it should have been cheaper. So yeah, beware of that happening. Now, I've never heard of this happening in the US, but I think in foreign countries, it happens a lot.
Yeah. Any
comment on that one?
No, I said my piece. I went on my rant.
Okay. We should wrap this up here, but I see some people are complaining that it's a bad connection, so I apologize to the audience for that.
We'll try to work on that before our next live stream, which we are doing another live stream
absolutely
next Thursday. Is that correct? At 3 p.m.?
That's correct.
Yay. Woo. Well, I really hope you guys like this new setup that we're doing.
Okay, well, audience, thanks for attending our first. What should we call this?
Social
I
distancing
guess it's
live
kind of like a
stream.
live stream. Okay, our first social distancing live stream. So yeah, this is the first one I've ever done. I've heard so much about Zoom, so yeah, this is interesting. So thank you, audience, for coming. Thanks, Heather, for setting all this up, and
Thank you for having me.
I will see all of you in a week. And be safe and
Wash your
stay
hands.
apart from each other.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands a lot. Wash your hands and stay 6 feet apart from people you don't know.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay.
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 Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye, audience.